What is up, Moi Kaleni? The loneliest sweet potato, back at it with yet another video. Yes, I'm aware I have been MIA, but yeah, we've come to rectify that with another video. But with that being said, and without wasting much of your time, let's jump straight into today's video. So, from black and white cinemas to VHS tapes and compact discs and flash drives, all the way to streaming platforms such as Netflix and Hulu and Crunchyroll and so many other streaming platforms that have been made available for our entertainment, we find that there has been a growing need to maximize the viewing experience that comes with using these various platforms. So aside from maximizing on the viewing experience of each individual, you find that there has been a demand, a popular demand for very progressive content. The woke culture now is on the ground, it is hot, it is heavy, it is breeding, and everybody out there wants to feel like they are consuming something that is enriching their minds, right? So with the growth of this woke culture and the demand for more progressive content, we find that these streaming platforms are going to the most extremes to meet that demand. There is a direct correlation between the viewing habits of individuals and the morals and values that they tend to be drawn to, or the ones that they in turn start to value. So the content made available on various streaming platforms will depict and show different kinds of moral values, different kinds of cultures, and to some extent will influence the viewer themselves. So we find that in a country like Zambia that is heavily consuming foreign media, we find that a lot of that foreign media that is being shown in these various streaming platforms, be it Netflix, Hulu, Crunchyroll, whatever you have, we find that in turn Zambians are starting to adopt some of these morals that are being depicted in these various streaming platforms. And when it trickles down to the bedrock of it all, you find that some of the morals of that society that made it function end up being corrupted because people are trying to emulate whatever fashionable moral code that is out. So how does the consumption of foreign media affect a society as a whole? In a society such as Zambia, which is heavily traditional and extremely Christian. I cannot stress this enough. Goddamn. If you want to see a video about me breaking down the Christian values and the craziness that goes on in this country, please check out one of my videos. It's called, I'll link it in the description, sorry. But check out one of my videos. It's pretty good. Some of my best work. So consuming foreign media will highlight the discourse between the morals that are being depicted in these various things that you're consuming, which is entertainment, and the morals that that society holds, or the morals that that society holds to make it function. In the long run, we find that there is a dilution of these morals purely because there has been an influx, or there has been a flooding of these, foreign media, foreign sources of entertainment, foreign values, and in turn will dilute the actual values in that society that they used to propel them forward. All the morals that they used to keep that society in a subservient position, whatever it is still creating some sort of change within that society, and whether that change is good or not is not what I'm here to discuss. I'm just here to highlight the changes that comes into a society when you decide to immerse yourself in a culture, in a kind of way of life that is not particularly familiar to your own. Cultural appropriation then becomes the norm in a society that is heavily consuming, foreign media. In the recent weeks, we saw a very colorful Chilanga Mlilo in which one of the guests was Yo Maps and the other one happened to be Chef 187. And I'm sorry, but that Chilanga Mlilo was a dead ringer for a Nigerian wedding ceremony. I don't know if y'all didn't catch that, but I'm pretty sure most of you caught that because there were quite a number of comments, highlighting or pointing out exactly what was wrong with it. I must say I was very disappointed to see that there were individuals that thought that was something meant to be praised. Here's my thing, okay? I don't give a shit what people do at their chilangamdilos. Y'all can show up naked, drum, don't drum, make your bride touch the coals or don't make the bride touch the coals. That's really up to you. But then if you decide to use other people's cultures just to add a little bit of spice to your own, yeah, that just does not sit right with me. Why? Do you understand why these people do the things they do? Do you understand why they wear the clothes that they wear? And you see these people proudly, wearing these Nigerian outfits with very little knowledge of what exactly that entails, what exactly that reflects on you as an individual. I'll tell you, it shows that you do not have any regard for your own culture. It shows me that you would, on any day, pick any other culture that is not of your own. It's just a little disappointing, to say the least, and quite frankly, very shameless to see you appropriate certain cultures because, what's wrong with your own, though? Bembas are very beautiful Chilangambilos, guys. Let's just put this out there. Bembas have really revolutionized the way Zambians do their weddings. We see Tongas doing Chilangambilos now. Even people that don't follow Chilangambilos in their own tribes are now doing it. So, where's the problem here, people? Where's the problem? I believe that there are a good number of ways that you could appraise your own culture without having to back it up by somebody else's. Their shit's already on the map. What the fuck are you doing still promoting their own shit? Okay? Like, I don't get it. But here we are, championing people's cultures over our own. Many corporates that are responsible for culturally appropriating other people's ways of life are mostly Zambian celebrities. People that hold influential positions actually shamelessly appropriate other people's cultures. And cultural appropriation in this country has become so bad that it has now become the normal. It has now become the standard that you use to judge how progressive you are. Do you understand how crazy that is? That you are using somebody else's culture to set the standard for your own. I'm sorry, but we need to have more pride in who we are. A few notable things about consuming foreign media, not that I'm saying foreign media is bad for us or that it's good for us either, but a few notable, you just need to learn to, sift the chaff from the necessary stuff. But a few notable things would be the Chilangamlilo that had people dressed in Nigerian attires, to add a little bit of more pizzazz, I'm guessing, to your wedding. Do you, bro? Do you? The other thing that I noticed is the uproar. Not really the uproar, but the noise that came when Mutale Mwanza purchased the iPhone 14. It was seen as, owning an iPhone is seen as a status symbol. I don't care. If you have an iPhone, it's a big. Another thing that I did note was the widespread of American feminist ideals and their influence on young Zambian women. Remember the feminist march? The one where you took off your clothes and tried to tell people to not look at you? How did that work out? I'm sorry. But these three things, these three isolated events, coupled with a shared delusion of a lot of Zambians, this delusion that the Western ideals are the standard, is just really gonna be the death of us. I promise. Hey, and I get it, okay? I get it. Foreign media is really good to consume. Those people are really good at making movies. I will binge watch a good Netflix series any day. Trust me. They do have, some pretty interesting shit to look at. But then when you bring it back home, we really don't have the variety that foreign media grants us. What do we have? Shimumbi. What kind of media do we put out there as a country that is good enough for foreign individuals to consume? Shimumbi, really. I mean, I did watch quite a few episodes of Shimumbi, and that was not by choice. Before you judge me, it was not by choice. I was on a bus traveling from one town to the next, and the bus was playing, lo and behold, Shimumbi. Now, I don't like the entire comedy skits. I mean, he's a misogynistic man that he's a stereotypical father figure in Zambia, and I feel like we need to break that. There'll be a video for that later on. But he's a stereotypical dad. He's the one that works, and Vanamumbi is the dumb wife that does the house chores and is heavily reliant on the man's intellect to guide her through the day. That's comedy to you. Yeah. I really do not blame Zambians at all because the content that we really have out there leaves much to be desired. It's either just an imitation of something that's already been done by the Western culture or just flat out terrible content. I think it's very important and it would be very useful to us to highlight the beauty that lives within, the context of Zambian culture. Unlike drawing our inspiration from the Western world or whatever it is, or whatever culture we would like to draw inspiration from, it is far much more interesting, far much more true to yourself to draw your inspiration from, where you come from. There are over 72 tribes in this country. When was the last time you heard of a tribe called Nkoya? Yeah, that's how desensitized you people are. It's very interesting and it's very important that we do not forget where we come from. We see people like Sampa the Great bringing it back to their roots because you know that shit sells. What better way to draw your inspiration than from your own motherland? I think that's a great thing, and I see a couple of other celebrities doing the same. We have Burna Boy who kept it to his roots. We have Stormzy. We have a bunch of other artists, a bunch of other creators that stick to their roots, and that really works for them because authenticity sells, not imitation. You find that we were sold shitty dreams and shitty values from Western values and Western people. We were told to go to college, so we went to college. We told us to get jobs, so we go jobs. It's a cycle of just doing what we were told to do without actually having to really apply yourself. And I see a failure to apply yourself in a whole lot of aspects in our country, such as producing authentically Zambian content. I mean, we have the likes of Zuba, Mbali, and all that stuff, and yeah, I will commend those, but they do have a little American undertones, and you cannot deny that. A little Western undertones, you cannot deny that. It is quite disappointing to see that the only way that we can be good enough is if we get to a certain level with the Westerners or with the, you have to get to a certain level with these people in order to be deemed successful or deemed competent or deemed, fulfilled in your field. Yeah, alright. But it's really disappointing to know that all we'll ever be, or the best we can ever be, is according to somebody else's standard. We find that even complex things such as voting systems, governance systems, the curriculums that we teach in our schools are still heavily influenced by the findings of the Western man or the Western culture. I feel like it is a very deep-seated disorder to want to appease master. That is why democracy does not work in most African countries. Corruption is everywhere, yes, and that's just like it's a universal problem for everybody. If there's somebody willing to take money, corruption is never gonna end. But then we find that things like governance systems that were taught to us by the foreigners or the Western culture have a little plot holes in our own society. We failed to factor in the fact that there might be a language barrier. Our own religious beliefs might also come into play, and a whole bunch of other things that make this not compatible with us. As far as adopting foreign policies goes, we see it evidently through our own young women here in this country, how they rallied behind the feminist march that was taking place in the United States, but failed to put into consideration the fact that those were women that were fighting for a cause you know nothing about. See, the feminist march was mostly sparked in the 1960s in the USA, and white women were fighting to have a place in the office other than just having a place at home. You see, the white man has always found pleasure and power and drawn his pleasure and power from keeping people in a subservient position, from controlling people, whether it's his wife, his job, black people, Africans, slave trade in general, the entire, concept of slave trade. It all ties into his need to want to control things, and the white woman wanted to break free of that. Therefore, they rallied with, a number of other women, and they were tired. Okay. Unbeknownst to Zambian women, they pick up these ideals and they march and they take off their clothes and they rally behind these ideals they know nothing about. You don't know you don't know shit, okay, about what went on. You can go to school. This is 2022. You can go to school. You can finish school. You can become a doctor. You can do whatever you want. I mean, with the exception of certain Islamic nations that are still very backward in that sense. But you can go to school and not get called stupid or delusional for going for your dreams. So what struggles are you fighting for? If it's affirmative action, they got you. Women in Zambia are able to get into schools purely based off of the fact that they have a vagina. It's that easy. It's been made that easy. But not for the women in the 1960s. Going back, you don't know the struggles that went down there. So don't sit here and try and adopt these ideals just because it's flashy or it will make for a good hashtag on your social media. Let's wake up, people. Let's wake up. Some struggles are just not yours to fight. There are legit people that fought for your rights, and you're just gonna spit in their face by protesting for a cause that you know nothing about. Not only do you know nothing about it, but you clearly don't give a shit about it. There are legit problems in the Middle East where women cannot protest in the manner that you did, but you made fools of yourselves. You had the opportunity to protest for something far much more substantial. But no, you failed. The only message that went out there was that you can take your clothes off. And that's how you get the attention of a man. Pretty much. You see, at the core of every human being lies the need for a niche. And, just that one thing that gives your life purpose. Because at the core of it all, we really just want to be remembered in some sort of way. We want to be recognized as somebody that lived, that loved, that did things, that achieved things, that started movements, revolutions, and everything. And whether it's not those goals and your goals are just minimal as taking care of a family, it's still a niche that you're trying to discover. You want to be remembered as great memories. That's why you find people, enlisting in the army, joining politics, doing charismatic jobs and careers so that they can be remembered in a way. See, people enlist in the army just so they can have an honorable death. It's all about the end for humanity. There cannot be life without death, right? So at least try to make your existence memorable. And it's hardwired in us to just try to discover that niche. But along the way, I feel like we lose ourselves by looking sideways as to what other people are doing. And in turn, we end up assimilating those things that are around us and losing ourselves in the process. So we're all just trying to find our niche, whether we're buying an iPhone 14 Pro, or attending chilangamlilos that are a dead ringer for Nigerian weddings, or marching for a cause that you do not believe in, or don't give a shit about, or cannot even begin to fathom. is all just us trying to find a niche. So what's your niche? Okay, I know what mine is. It's annoying you here long enough until I get cancelled, because we live in an age of cancel culture, and I'm just waiting for that one day I say something wrong. Don't worry, I'm not as cocky as Kanye. I'm not gonna be that famous, but bro, we're all just trying to find our niche, okay? And if this video has taught you anything, be sure to drop a comment. If you agree or disagree, I want to hear it still. Be sure to drop a comment. I'd love to hear what you think about this. So let's go out there and find our niche, fully backed by authenticity, because that is the best weapon you'll ever have. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like it, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment, of course, if this video really intrigued you. And if it didn't, leave a comment still. Reverse psychology, sucker. But as for now, I will see you next video. Dabby's the loneliest sweet potato is out. Much love. That's my friend Coco.